Oh, what is up, Straight Talk Society? This is your host, Trevor, and I'm back with another episode of Five Count, my top five takeaways from tonight's episode of Friday Night Smackdown, which I thought was a fantastic show. But let's get into the top five takeaways, beginning with number five. Oh my goodness, a renewed interest in the tag team division. So the god of wrestling, as I call him, Triple H, and I will get to him soon, comes out with Nick Aldis in the ring, and they call out the tag team champions, similar to how they did on, well, not similar exactly to how they did on Monday Night Raw. So we knew that they were going to present the Raw tag champions with the new belts. But what we didn't know is that they were going to present them with a mix between the Attitude Era and the Golden Era's titles, tag titles. Oh my God. The only thing missing from this is the dual plating, and it's a little more updated. It has the new WWE logo in it. I think these tag belts are phenomenal. And the tag division is just gonna rock because there's a better looking prize. You got rid of the penny belts. These belts are phenomenal. They look so good on the shoulders of Waller and Theory. And speaking of tag team, the Street Profits are the new number one contenders for A-Town Down Under's tag team titles because they had a fatal four-way match with New Cash Republic, the Street Profits, the AOP, and Legado del Fantasma. Great wrestling match. Street Profits did pull it out, so I'm assuming that match is going to now take place at Backlash. But shout out to the WWE for putting a renewed interest on their tag team division, and shout out to them for finally making a damn belt that looks good. My number four takeaway from tonight's edition of SmackDown is, oh man, so now I just mentioned Triple H, so y'all hear me on this one. Everybody knows Triple H is my favorite wrestler of like modern wrestling. I'm a huge Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Dusty Rhodes fan, but of modern wrestling, it's Triple H. I'm a fan of the heels. That's why my nickname is the Heel Minister. I think Triple H is doing a tremendous job. I always said that he would do a tremendous job, but what I'm fearing is going to happen. It is starting to happen. He is so over that he is overshadowing the wrestlers. Like when you hear his ovation, the only person's ovation that could rival his is Cody Rhodes. Triple H has retired, so hopefully they don't try any authority screwing angle down the line. I doubt they'll do that, but they got to be careful when they're bringing Triple H out because the fans are just going crazy over him, and a lot of it is because we were so sick of Vince and everything that Vince did and how Vince like consistently tried to ruin wrestling, and now we're getting wrestling that we love back again. So it's just the admiration and the adoration for Triple H. But they got to be careful because I think that Triple H is probably the most over person in the company with the exception of Cody Rhodes. So that's something, let's keep an eye on that. My number three takeaway from tonight's episode of Friday Night Smackdown. Oh my goodness, multiple women's storylines. So in the main event tonight, we had a tremendous title for the WWE Women's Championship between the champion Bayley and Naomi. And I got to say, this is probably one of Naomi's best matches I've ever seen. I said the best match of hers I ever saw was her against Jordynne Grace at TNA. I think it was Hard Justice or something like that. But this match was tremendous. Like this match was great. This scene here, they met in the middle and they're trading blows and they're going back and forth, hard hitting. Naomi was making tremendous transitions. Bayley is Bayley. I mean, Bayley with the Macho Man elbow. I guess she's not going back to the hugger gimmick. That's fine. I don't get what I want all the time, but it is what it is. So they did a shot. They did a shot up until the skyboxes, and you have Damage Control out there. Dakota Kai is doing all the talking now, so it seems to me like Dakota Kai may be the new de facto leader on that group. And then all of a sudden you hear there's a storm coming through. Jade comes out. Jade and Bianca comes out looking only as Jade and Bianca can. Oh my goodness. And it seems like what I've been saying is going to happen, that Black Girl Magic is going over against the Oriental Express or the Jumping Bomb Angels. I mean, just insert any Oriental name for the tag team champions, and they will take those belts. And I think that'll just make them the dominant tag champions. It'll make the tag team championships relevant. It'll make the tag team division fun, but it will ultimately serve as a catalyst for the breakup for their eventual SummerSlam or WrestleMania match next year. But I mean, this was just tremendous. And then if the match couldn't get any better, what I didn't like, I would have wished that there was a winner. Bayley's first title defense, I wish it would have ended clean, but there's a means to end here. I understand why they did it. The two women are fighting outside. Tiffany Stratton interferes, aggressive as hell, beats up both women outside, gets them both in, hits the prettiest moonsault. You guys got to see her moonsault. Her springboard moonsault is the prettiest moonsault in wrestling. She hits it flawlessly on both of them. Tiffany Stratton is a star. I have been saying this since her NXT days. She is a star, and it looks like they may be leading to a triple threat at Backlash. Hey, this Backlash card is lining up to be pretty good. I mean, just based on some things that I've seen and what's coming up, this Backlash card may be as good as like last year's. I put last year's Backlash card in like running for pay-per-view of the year. It was so awesome. And it could have been too because of that crowd. That crowd was phenomenal. But stay tuned for this, man. Tiffany Stratton is going to be the future of this division. She is awesome. My number 2 takeaway from tonight's episode of SmackDown Live. Oh gosh, we're getting AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed title is what it's called. The Universal title has been retired, as it should be, because Roman Reigns' 1300-day reign was tied to the Universal title. He won the WWE title a year after. So the lineages didn't line up. So they retired the Universal title is what I heard. I mean, they should. I mean, no, this is WWE. You got your WWE title and you got your world title. That's it. You don't need a Universal title. Stop trying to make everything all convoluted and things like that. But AJ Styles in the opening match did beat LA Knight in another good match. I mean, hey, the best matches LA Knight has had in this company has come at the hands of AJ Styles. AJ Styles, even in his 40s, is that dude. Phenomenal look. Looks like a villain. His new music, I'm not a fan of it, but it fits his new character. AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes at Backlash in Paris, France, with a crowd that's probably going to be insane, has all the makings to be match of the year candidate. It's going to be great. I just think it's going to be so great. Cody Rhodes wasn't in the building. He did do a taped promo, because apparently half the roster is over in England doing a house show. So that's why you didn't see everybody tonight. But nevertheless, AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes is going to be fantastic. So somebody said, oh my God, Trevor, they jobbed out LA Knight. LA Knight lost. You know what? The draft is next week. LA Knight is going to Raw. I'm almost certain LA Knight is going to go to Raw. That's why it doesn't even matter. LA Knight will go to Raw. He'll challenge whomever over there. That's it. Hey, I always say wins and losses matter, but in this case, coming so close to the draft, Cody needs an opponent. It really doesn't matter. And you can't have Cody versus LA Knight because you'd split the crowd. You can't do that. Not this early in his title run. AJ Styles is a real heel. Let AJ Styles versus Cody. You got a built-in story. You have two former members of the leaders of the Bullet Club. It just writes itself. I wouldn't be surprised under this new Triple H regime if they don't start playing into some of that stuff. I mean, you only got like a week and a half, but nevertheless, they probably still will play into that. I just think this match is going to be phenomenal. And last but definitely not least, my number one takeaway from tonight's episode of SmackDown Live. Oh my goodness, a new, more vicious bloodline. So this starts out Solo Sikoa in a shirt. He didn't have on a shirt and tie. He just had on a blazer. He had on some trousers, looking just more menacing than ever because he still has his hand taped up. And he's telling Paul Heyman for some reason now all of a sudden he has a vendetta against KO. So he's telling Paul Heyman, find me KO, find me KO. And Paul Heyman's like, oh, he's not here. I can't find him, blah, blah, blah. Solo comes to the ring to cut a promo. All of a sudden, Solo's in the middle of the ring cutting a promo and getting heat, and the crowd is chanting, "We want Roman." And this is where it starts. These little, you wait until later down, you're gonna see when WWE puts their videos together, you're gonna see all this. The "We want Roman" chants. And Solo looked in the camera and said, "Now you do." Yeah, it's so awesome, man. Storytelling in wrestling is fantastic. There's another company in wrestling that has the best wrestling, but they can't draw a dime. Just because nobody cares about just being able to wrestle. You got to compel me, make me want to come watch your show. And that's what's going on here in WWE. This bloodline story has now had new blood blown into it, but this is not it. So all of a sudden, you see KO flying out of the back, and what do we see? Kevin Owens is busted completely open. I had to obviously make it black and white because YouTube standards, you never know what they're going to do. KO is busted completely open. I'm talking about bleeding a gusher. I'm not talking about just, a little trickle of blood. I am talking about bleeding a gusher, late 80s WCW type blood here, blade job here. Fantastic. The blood just made it so much better. The ref, everybody's trying to break it up, and Tama Tonga is just destroying KO. Solo comes in. It looks like they're getting ready to do the same thing that they were going to do to Jimmy Uso, but luckily the officials stopped it. KO did try to fight back. He did get some licks in, but they overwhelmed him. So after all this was over, Paul Heyman's in the back, and Nick Aldis comes up on him, and he walks him out in the parking lot. And then you see this. So apparently Nick Aldis says that that's Tama Tonga's rental car, and that's KO's rental car. So Tama Tonga drove his rental car into KO's rental car, which would show you the head trauma on the side, and must have pulled him out and beat the brakes off of him into the arena. Listen, man, storytelling. I love it. I just love it. I love it. I love it. Brutality in wrestling is back. Men are watching this. I know they say kids are watching it, but us grown men are watching this, and we love brutality and we love beautiful women. So you mix the two together. WWE, you are on fire tonight. And those are my top 5 takeaways from tonight's episode of SmackDown. Peace.